Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn Solitude by Henry David Thoreau. Let's have a look at the author. Henry David Thoreau lived in between 1817 to 1862. He was an American essayist, poet, naturalist, and philosopher. He was famous for having lived the principles of transcendentalism. Dear students, hope you are familiar with the principle of transcendentalism. So I am going to give you a small definition of this particular political movement. Transcendentalism was a 19th century American literary, philosophical, religious, and political movement with a fundamental belief in the unity of all creation. So this particular movement believes in the unity of all creation and the innate goodness of people and nature. It is society and its institutions that corrupt the purity of the individual. According to this particular belief, society and its institutions normally corrupts the purity of an individual. Humanity's best emerges when they are truly self-reliant and independent. So this particular movement believes in self-reliance and independence. Henry David Thoreau was a great champion of civil liberties, as seen in his essay Civil Disobedience. Let's have a look at the chapter Solitude. Solitude comes under the book Walden or Life in the Woods, which is published in the year 1854 by Henry David Thoreau. This book is an important contribution to New England transcendentalism. The book was a record of Thoreau's experiment in simple living on the northern shore of Walden Pond in eastern Massachusetts from the year 1845 to 1847, around 2 years. Walden is viewed not only as a philosophical treatise on labor, leisure, self-reliance, and individualism, but also as an influential piece of nature writing. It is considered as Thoreau's masterwork. Walden is the product of the 2 years and 2 months Thoreau lived in a semi-isolation by Walden Pond near Concord, Massachusetts. He built a small cabin on land owned by his friend Ralph Waldo Emerson and was almost totally self-sufficient, growing his own vegetables and doing odd jobs. It was his intention at Walden Pond to live simply and have time to contemplate, walk in the woods, write, and commune with nature. Chapter 5 is titled as Solitude. In this particular chapter, he praises the warmth and friendliness of nature while also exploring the idea of solitude and distinguishing between solitude and loneliness. The text is a short extract of this writing. So let's have a look at the summary of this chapter, Solitude. Solitude mainly focuses on two central ideas. The first idea is solitude, and second one is man's relationship to nature. Thoreau is fond of nature. He himself declares nature as his companion, his protection, and his inspiration. This chapter is titled as Solitude, so it gives the reader an image of being alone in the world. Solitude is inevitable for man, saying, a man thinking or working is always alone. Thoreau experiences nature as the sweetest and tender, the most innocent and encouraging society. Normally, we will use all these terms for a human being, right? But here, Thoreau compares nature as the sweetest and tender, the most innocent, and the one who encourages society. There is no feeling of sadness to those who lives in the midst of nature. So all these points are David Thoreau's points on nature. So he was appealing to the readers that whoever lives in the midst of nature, they don't have the feeling of sadness at all. He enjoys seasons and he is confident that nothing can make life a burden. So, in this chapter, he is mentioning about rain. So, I just included that particular sentence. The gentle rain, which waters my beans and keeps me in the house today, is not real and melancholy, but good for me too. So, he was mentioning about rain. Normally, rain waters his beans, but at the same time, this rain is good for me too. So here the me refers to David Thoreau. Thoreau feels that he is more favored by the gods when comparing himself with other men. So because of all these things that he is experiencing from the nature, he himself feels that he is more favored by the gods when comparing himself with other men. He got the opportunity to live in the nature. He never felt lonesome or lonely or in the least oppressed by a sense of solitude. He never ever experienced the sense of solitude while he was in nature. He estimates that for a serene and healthy life, near neighborhood of man is not essential. So, normally, there is an assumption that if you want to live a serene and healthy life, we have to be in contact with others. We have to be social. But according to David Thoreau, he estimates that for a serene and healthy life, for a calm life, no need of a particular person is not essential at all. He recalls some of his pleasantest hours were during the long rainstorms in the spring or fall. So, according to David Thoreau, one of his pleasant hours were during long storms in the spring or fall. So, next point is one of the important point. To be alone is wholesome. What do you mean by wholesome? Wholesome means good for you and likely to improve your life either physically, morally, or emotionally. So, to be alone is just like we are doing meditation. It's like it will improve your physical, moral, emotional health. It will be good for you. To be in company, even with the best, is soon wearisome and dissipating. So, normally we are into company to feel best or to feel secure, right? But according to Thoreau, to be in company even with the best ones is soon wearisome and dissipating. Dissipating means gradually that bond will become weaker and weaker. He never found the companion that was so companionable as solitude. So, according to David Thoreau, the best companion is solitude. A man thinking or working is always alone. So, you have to keep in mind this point, particular point. A man thinking on working is always alone. Next point. Solitude is not measured by the miles of space that intervene between a man and his fellows. So, solitude is not measured or is not scaled by the miles of space that intervene between a man and his fellows. So, uh, he was mentioning about a particular uh, thing, that is, Thoreau is putting forward about a diligent student in one of the crowded hives of Cambridge College is as solitary as a dervish in the desert. So he compares a diligent student in a crowd, okay, to a solitary person as a dervish in the desert. So dervish is a member of a Muslim religious group whose members make a promise to stay poor and live without comforts or pleasures. So, the diligent student is as lonely as this particular person. Less frequency would suffice for all important and hearty communication. So, according to David Thoreau, if you want to be in hearty communications, or if we want to communicate like each other in a polite or a pleasant or with whole heart, less frequency is important. Less frequency means, for example, I will just mention an example. So even we are meeting the same people every day, what will happen? So the same thing will be talking every day in different styles. So normally, gradually, it will get bored, right? So, but the thing is that if we are meeting others in regular intervals, or just like uh, 1 week, after 1 week or 1 month, it will lead to important and hearty communication. Our each and every sentence will be meaningful. So less frequency would suffice for all important and hearty communication. He is portraying about Son, God, as alone. So David Thoreau is mentioning about Son, God, they are all alone. On the contrary, on the opposite side, the devil, he is far from being alone. He sees a great deal of company. He is legion. So legion is a digit, okay. So normally it specifies a large number. He says that he is no more lonely than a single mullein or dandelion in a pasture, or a bean, leaf or sorrel, or a horsefly or a bumblebee. So here David Thoreau is mentioning he is no more lonely. He is no more lonely, and he was mentioning about a plant. Single mullet, it's a plant. Dandelion, it's a flower. Bean leaf, sorrel also, it's a plant. Horsefly, bumblebee is also a bee, which makes more sound or humming. That sound will be higher. So he is no more lonely than all these plants or fly or whatever may be. He is not feeling lonely at all. At the end, he is asking, what is the medicine which will keep us well, serene, contented? He answers it as our great grandmothers, nature's universal vegetable or botanic medicines. For everything, his answer is nature. He loves to have a draught of undiluted morning air. So he loves to be in that undiluted morning air. He loves to experience undiluted morning air. He urges each man to explore the uncharted territories within him, to obey only the laws of his own being, and to devote his life to the work he cares about, no matter how poor he is. With spiritual awareness and reverence for nature, he says, new life can emerge from within a person. So, this particular work completely focuses on the belief of transcendentalism. So, at the end, we are reaching at a conclusion that with spiritual awareness and reverence for nature, we can emerge a new life from within a person. So, this is all about the summary of this particular lesson. Thank you, everyone, and God bless you.